Hey, how's it going? It is Friday, July 10th, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. Today we'll get some coronavirus updates, the fourth segment in the new program on MBTI personalities from One Chun, and answering questions from listeners. So, how you guys doing? You guys must be doing awesome because it's Friday, and what does that mean? It is time for the weekend. So, hope you guys are looking forward to a weekend of Thanksgiving to the Holy Trinity. So, let's end this week well and do it together here on the Morning Star Drive. Keep liking, keep commenting. I want to hear from you guys and see how you're doing. So, post your song requests, your stories, questions, anything you want, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, remember this Sunday, we'll be meeting a member in Korea. It's Catherine Poon. So look forward to this fun interview as Catherine talks about her path in life and also how she's been living with the Lord until now. I hope you guys really enjoy these Sunday edition interviews just as much as I do them. And we're just able to meet all these Western members from around the world in such an intimate way. We see what different members what they've gone through in their lives before and after coming to this history, so I hope you guys will check that out. So, let's get into the featured artist of the day. Today's featured artist is from Studio 316, and the song we're going to hear is Completely. So I hope you guys enjoy that song. And the second song is going to be a little bit more relaxing. It's going to be from Francis Han, our wonderful and amazing jazz pianist. And that song is going to be from his latest album. It's called Before Dawn. So hope you guys support and just really get ourselves out there to understand that we have some talented and amazing members out there. So let's enjoy the music.
Dreams I chase with my body, your will and dreams you fulfill through your body. My path, your path, separate yet for the same will. I can run, but I'll surely hit a limit. You can dream, but need people to fulfill it. My path, your path, meant to be on the same road. Big hopes, big dreams, we both have. Decide to preach. There is this fire. I said you'd be guiding me, but really it was me. You have the sword.
Myself away.
What's the use for me to cling to what I tried and failed? My dreams are in my boat now. I'll just raise yourself. And then again, I want you guiding me. But this time, I'll be filled with your words completely. I said that I would live with your thoughts as my head. But really, as I live, my thoughts are gone instead. Now each day I'll check my thoughts and pray. So this time dreams fulfilled completely. What's the use for me to cling to what I tried and failed? My dreams are in my boat now, I'll just raise your sail. I think I know what you're guiding me, but this time I'll be filled with your words completely. I said that I would live with your thoughts as my head, but really as I live my thoughts were gone instead. Now each day I'll check my thoughts and pray, so this time we'll see our dreams fulfilled completely.
And that is some smooth jazz all the way from Francis Hunt there in New York. That song was Before Dawn, and that's like, man, that sounds like something you could listen to before dawn, like before pre-dawn. You can listen to this stuff, and it'll get your mind in the right place. So I'm glad that we have a lot of fans out there for Francis, and of course that first song is from Studio 316, and that song was Completely. So I hope you're enjoying this Friday, because it's last day of the work week, and I know that everyone's excited just to get into this weekend, relax, enjoy yourselves, have a good time, whether it's, being with members, whether it's being alone, whichever what it is a time for us to relax. You guys have worked really hard this week, whether it's in church, whether it's at work, whether it's with your family. I'm just glad that all of you are here, and we're just doing this together. So let's move on into the coronavirus updates for today. So in the world at the moment, there's 12.2 million cases of the coronavirus with 553,000 deaths. And the mortality rate once again goes down to 4.53%. The U.S. at the moment is at 3.1 million cases, 135,000 deaths. And the mortality rate goes down again to 4.27%. Brazil, 1.7 million, 68,000 deaths at 3.96%, which means they're going down still. Both the U.S. and Brazil, they're well under the global average, which is very good. India's at 772,000. They're hitting 750,000 at 21,000 deaths at 2.74%. Mexico, 275,000 cases, 33,000 deaths. And of course, they're at a mortality rate pretty high. It's around 11.93%. So they're around 12% at the moment. South Africa, 224,000 cases, 3,600 deaths at 1.6%. And the Philippines, those of you who are wondering up there, 52,000 cases, 1,300 deaths. And yes, your mortality rate is going down. It's down to almost 2.5%. Sweden, too, one of the only countries, I'd say them and Hong Kong didn't have much of a lockdown, and they're at 7.42%. And Belgium is going down a bit at 15.72%. So if you look at yesterday, we did have some new records and highs. The U.S. has 62,000 cases in a day with a 2% growth in infections. Brazil's at 41,000 cases at 2% growth. India's at 25,000 at 3% growth. South Africa, 8,800 cases in a day, 4%. And Mexico's at 6,200 cases at 2%. So I hope that it gives us an idea of what is going on in the world, and we'll just really, really be able to get ourselves to understand what is going on, and we can really be able to pray for the situations much better. All right, that brings us into the fourth segment of the MBTI personality program we have from Wonchun over there in Korea. So let's welcome him for his Friday segment for the 16 personalities, the MBTI.
Hey everyone, hope you had an amazing week. This is Wonchun. Today we got another segment on the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator test, the personality test that we've been talking about. And last week we talked about the cognitive functions of the ESTP and the ENFP and how they really totally are different in the way that they experience the world, how they feel, think, how they perceive and judge what they see. If they're a feeling type, if they're a thinking type, they really experience and think in a different way. And I think that the great thing about this test or this learning about this is that, personally, for me, the reason I got into it was because I just had so many problems communicating to specific people, and I realized that we were talking, but even though we were using the same words, we were talking at different frequencies, and we just couldn't understand each other. And so I think that in our lives too, whether it's in work or whether it's at home as well, I think that, actually we all can learn about how to understand people and how people think, how people like process information really differently. So this is going to be really helpful for you guys if you can figure out how to use it. So today, what I thought we'd do is, of course, we learned about cognitive functions last week, but today we're going to do a test. We'll do the test together. So I'm going to test you, and what you can do is get a piece of paper and a pen, use your phone, and we're going to write down the answers to, what type of person what kind of box we fall into when it comes to these 16 types. So there's 16 types. I'm an ENFP, that's just one of them. The ESTP we talked about last week. So if you guys got a piece of paper, pen, or just use a phone. And so there's four bunches of questions that we need to answer. The first is about extroversion or introversion. Are you an extrovert or an introvert? And then we'll talk about the others as we go. Okay, you ready? Cool. So first bunch of questions. Are you an outwardly or an inwardly focused person? So you could be described as talkative, outgoing. You like to be in a fast-paced environment. You tend to work out ideas with others and you think out loud. You enjoy being the center of attention. Okay, so second bunch of questions. You could be described as reserved or private. You prefer a slower pace with time for contemplation. You tend to think things through inside your head. You would rather observe than be the center of attention. Now, if you answer those bunch, if you like lean towards that bunch, then you're an introvert or your introversion. Or if it's the first bunch, then you're an extrovert. So you want to write down an E or an I. So write down an E or I. Now we're going to do the second bunch of questions, okay? So how do you prefer to take in information? Do you focus on the reality of how things are? Do you pay attention to concrete facts and details? Do you prefer ideas that have practical application? Or do you like to describe things in specific or literal ways? Okay, so second bunch. You imagine the possibilities of how things could be. You notice the big picture. You see how everything connects. You enjoy ideas and concepts for your own sake. You like to describe things in figurative or poetic ways. So that's the intuitive type. The first type is sensing type. So you want to write down for the second letter an S or an N. Sensing, S, intuitive, N. So we got extrovert, introvert, and we got sensing or intuitive. Okay, you guys good? Next bunch of questions. How do you prefer to make decisions? You make decisions in an impersonal way using logical reasoning. You value justice, fairness. You enjoy finding the flaws in an argument. Could be described as reasonable or level-headed. Okay, next bunch. You base your decisions on personal values and how your actions affect others. You value harmony, forgiveness. You like to please others and point out the best in people. You could be described as warm and empathetic. This is a feeling type. First type, thinking. T or F. So which one do you lean towards? You got to choose one. Okay, you guys ready for the last bunch of questions? How do you prefer to live your outer life? Do you prefer to have matters settled? Do you think rules and deadlines should be respected? Do you prefer to have detailed step-by-step instructions? Do you make plans and want to know what you're getting into? Okay, next bunch. You prefer to leave your options open. You see rules and deadlines as flexible. You like to improvise and make things up as you go. Or you're spontaneous and you enjoy surprises and new situations. So that's a perceiving type, that last one, and the first one was judging. So J or P, judging, perceiving. Now there's no wrong and right. Like if you're a judging type, don't feel like, oh, I judge people. Like that's not what it's about. So if you're J or P, if you're judging or perceiving, write down J or P. Cool, so guys, I don't know what you are, but congratulations, you found what type of personality type you fall into. Personally, for me, I'm an ENFP. If you guys want to learn more about these types, you can go into 16personalities.com and you can do the test there as well and see if you came up with the same answers. And then you can read up about that type of personality on there. Or you can go to another website, like you can go to psychologyjunkie.com, and yeah, you can read about these kind of cognitive functions on there if you want to start reading about that sort of thing. But anyway, we're finished for today. Have another awesome week. Hopefully you can learn how to use this for your benefit. Cool. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
And thank you so much to Wanchon for that wonderful segment. I know a lot of people are interested in this type of stuff, and I think it is very, very interesting because I have some talks with him and some other people about these subjects. It's very, very insightful, intriguing to know what other people's characters are like. And like he said during that segment, it's like even if you're like a judging or perceiving, it doesn't literally mean you're someone who judges people. Right? These are just types of personalities, the way that we think. So, yeah, I definitely go ahead, try out some of these personality characteristics, do a little bit of research on them, and you kind of get to see what other people are like and how they, like what level, like not level, but how they communicate and how they talk with people. And it's very, it's for those, like when you're managing people, you think that you can never handle them. It's really interesting how a lot of these things just fit in perfectly. All right, so that brings us into the time of praise for today. And in this praise segment, we have two songs that I've chosen. I chose the first one is I Believe. I haven't heard this song in a while. I know I played this like probably in like first 10 episodes. Just to let you guys know, like we're already on like episode 83 or 84. Right? So we've already gone to 83, 84 episodes. I'm just really excited to try and hit 100 episodes, and I think we're going to hit that within the next 3 weeks. So that's going to be quite exciting for me. And the first song we're going to sing is I Believe, so let's sing this one together. And of course, the second song, got a recommendation from a good friend of mine, and this song is Only This Remains. So everyone, get your praise, I guess, I don't know, your praise clothes or your praise mind together, your praise heart, and let us give glory to the Holy Trinity.
As I am walking on this road that leads to the city of gold, the Lord's sail is planted in my center, and on the Lord's wings I will rapture higher. I believe that the will has been fulfilled. I believe that my spirit rose with Him. I believe I'm living in the city of gold, and in this life I will always give thanks as I rise towards that plan. With the condition of the Lord, God's dream finally came true. As for me, I'll walk this path unchanging. I'll do what I must, and I'll never turn back. I believe that the will has been fulfilled. I believe that my spirit rose with Him. I believe I'm living time passes, all we'll see. I believe I'll stand firm, even though the wind may blow, never shaken. I'll fulfill heaven's will. God's history of love has won. God's history of love has won. The Lord has chosen me. He's given me all things. He's taught me with His love, and He has led me. The time arrived, He brought me to the bright golden city, and there we have fulfilled the greatest love. So now I will live just to love Him. I will give all my heart and life. I'll call His name and seek Him every day. I will sing and I'll praise Him. I will dance 'cause I love Him. I will share love with Him daily, having rapture, and I'll always offer glory in my life, for only this remains. There's nothing else for me, as I've received all things, so I will offer everything before my King. I'll always love the Lord, and I'll converse with Him daily, and so I shall repay His greatest grace. So now I will live just to love Him. I will give all my heart and life. I'll call His name and seek Him every day. I will sing and I'll praise Him. I will dance 'cause I love Him. I will share love with Him daily, having raptured, and I'll always offer glory in my life, for only this remains. So now I will live just to love Him. I will give all my heart and life. I'll call His name and seek Him every day. I will sing and I'll praise Him. I will dance 'cause I love Him. I will share love with Him daily, having rapture,
that is Only This Remains. I hope you guys enjoyed that praise song. And of course, that first one, another classic, was I Believe. All right, so that brings us into the word study for today. And of course, today's not really a word study because it is the question of the day, right? So, a question of the week. So, thank you for the people that bring in these good questions. This is a question I got from last night doing my bubble talk. And it's something that's, I think, is a really, really good question that maybe I think a lot of people struggle with, especially as you grow in Providence, like reaching like new departments. Like, you start off as SS, and then SS is quite free, and you got a lot of freedom, and of course you got to go to school and stuff like that. And then you go to campus, and you're really free, because when you're on campus, you don't have to go to class, and you have more time, and you don't study all the time. You have a lot of time for entertainment, going out, eating, meeting friends. And it's also a time a lot of people in Providence, they do their best. I remember a long time ago, I think it was like all the way in 2007 maybe, when Pastor Joan came to America. And she said most of the people that become big leaders in Providence do really, really well in campus. Because, that's the time you can grow the most. So what happens is you go into campus, and you're running every day, you're going out, you're making history. You feel like you're making an impact in history. You're evangelizing people, meeting people. You're doing praise. You're doing tech. You're basically doing everything, right? But what happens is when you transition again, you go to career, and then when you go to career, you kind of lose your ability to run like you did before. Because on campus, even though you have to go to school, you have to study, you have finals, midterms, and stuff like that, you still have tons of time, and you're not like a job where you're stuck in your school building and you have to stay there and you can't go out. But when you work, it's much, much different, right? And when you go to career, a lot of people, that transition is very difficult, because you went from like running full-time, almost full-time Providence, just feeling the history, going out, praying, everything else. And then all of a sudden, this career, this work makes you stay in some place for like 8 to 9 hours. And if you include travel, that's like 9.5 hours that you're just stuck in a certain spot. And you're meeting the exact same people every day, which means if you try to evangelize your coworkers and they say no, it's not like you can ask them again the next day. Where on campus, you're just constantly meeting thousands of people and talking to new people, right? And a lot of people they struggle with career, transitioning from running so hard in campus to going to career. And then, of course, after work, you're tired. And even though you want to run, and even though you want to go lecture, it's like, I'm so tired. I just want to go eat and have a little bit of entertainment and then go to bed and start it again. And then your week, it's kind of like this. And it's a little bit, it's way different than being in campus. Then, of course, you have then the career members become family members. And when you're family, it changes. Well, in the beginning, when you're just married, and if the two of you are people who really run for Providence, yeah, you can run but you're still working, right? So it's not like you can run Providence. You still got to work as career. And then as that goes on, you're not only having a career, but you have a relationship between you and your, like a husband and wife. So it's not like you just go to work and then you go straight to church and all you do is run and you come back home tired. Like, you actually have to make a relationship. And then that family the couple, that newlyweds become a family, and you have kids, and you lose even more time because of kids. Like, kids take so much time that it's an all-day, all-time thing. And you're just kind of hoping that they fall asleep. Right? Like, I know, and I see parents, because I love kids, and I'll just take care of the kids, and they're running and screaming, and they're like jumping on me and stuff. But you see the parents I look at them, and they're talking with each other. They have free time because the kids are all running and jumping all over me. Right? So it's kind of like they want that break too, because it's a full-time, like more than a full-time, it's a 24/7 thing. Like, even when they're sleeping, you're praying that you don't wake them up, so you're like really quiet so you don't wake up your kids, right? So it's a different thing when you have kids too. And of course, other people will go into full-time ministry, and that's different because now your life is ministry. Your life is pre-dawn. Your life is everything, right? And one of the things that people do talk about is you used to run so much, but now you don't run as much, so you feel guilty. Or in the message Sunseam talks about, or the Holy Spirit, God speaks through God speaks through the message and says, why aren't you running? And you're like, oh, why am I not like before? Or sometimes people might be a little bit, I wouldn't say insensitive, but maybe just not knowing the difference of what the life is like after you're married, after you have kids, or when you go to career. And sometimes people just, I wouldn't say the word ignorant, but like they just don't know. They've never been in it, right? Like even myself, I'm a phase star. It's different when you're married. And it would take me some time for me to understand and realize how much time and how much energy it takes to take care of kids. But I'm someone who loves kids that even for me, I need a break sometimes. I got to get a break from the kids, right? Or else basically I can't run for the rest of the week. But I love kids to death. But yeah, it's something that we have to start understanding each other a lot differently. And it's an interesting question that came up last night about how do you stop feeling guilty from the message, like guilty because you're not doing as much as you did before. Feeling guilty when Sunseam says, why aren't you evangelizing? Feeling guilty when people tell you that you're not doing enough. And it's something that a lot of people go through. And how do you stop the guilt and how do you stop that feeling that comes from this? And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Sometimes if you misunderstand or if you don't understand well about the situation, you might have wrong guilt. Like you might think, oh my gosh, God is telling me this. But in honesty, God is not saying anything. This is why we have to discern really well. And one of the things that whether you're a leader, whether you're someone who's a member, family, career, couple, whatever it is, we all realize that everyone comes from different stages in life. We're all in different stages. It's not about levels. It's about different stages. When on campus, your stage in life is you run like crazy. You have tons of time. You're not going to study all the time. And you because you're running so much, you kind of can feel the history in that stage, in that way. And that's what you're supposed to do at that time. And when people are in that stage, then it's a lot easier to run in this history, like run like crazy. Like that's what I did. When I was running, man, I was doing like full-time school, a part-time job at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf as a barista. I was also like basically running like on the praise team. I was learning how to play guitar, learning how to play drums, and I was teaching on campus, doing lectures. I was just doing tons of stuff. And you think to yourself like, oh, you think there's so much time. And then when people say there's not enough time, you're like, whoa, you know what I'm doing? It's like, that's kind of, you're in that super extra fiery mode, like super fire mode, right? And then what happens is the hard part is a transition. We talked, like I said before, is you go to career and you don't have enough time, and 9 to 10 hours is all in work from Monday to Friday, and you get back home and you're just tired. Of course you make money, but you're just tired because you've been working all day. And like going to church right after to lecture is like the last thing you're thinking about, right? And you lose a lot of time because of work. And one thing Pastor Joan did say when she was educating the career, basically she said the people who know time the most, who run the best, are career people. Because a lot of times full-time people, right? People running province full-time, they don't use their time very well. Like they'll lecture, they go out to evangelize, but then they have tons of free time and they're not utilizing their time like a career person. A career person is working 9 to 5, 8 hours a day plus travel. And then because they value time and they know that there's not enough time in the day, they will go and teach. They will go and evangelize. And these people are really, really running full time. And then after you work, you get married, right? And when you get married, you lose more time because you're working, and on top of the work, you're building the relationship. And then when you have kids, like I said, man, it's crazy. So we need to understand that not just for ourselves, like leaders have to understand their members, but also members have to understand their situation. Understanding everyone's situation and circumstance is a must, right? Like think about this. Newcomers, do you think newcomers are going to be able to teach the word right away? No way. Do you think newcomers are going to understand the word better than people who've been there for 10 years? No way. Newcomers will be on fire from the beginning, but they're on fire with less knowledge and less wisdom. And then what happens is that fire, will only last so long, and then it catches up with them, and they get really tired and they start missing pre-dawns. But that's part, it's a normal thing. There are those who made their constitution and those who didn't. Those that are struggling and those who aren't. Those who struggle at evangelism and those who are great at evangelism. Those who struggle at pre-dawn, those who don't struggle at pre-dawn. And people have all these different things that they're struggling with and not struggling with because they're all at different stages in life. There are so many different stages of people in the world, all over in Providence. And we have to realize every time we change and move to a different stage, like from campus to career, the contribution that we give is much different. It is different. The contribution is different to this history, right? Like, say someone who has children, gosh, those children are so valuable. The second gen, third gen, like we're going to start getting third gen soon, guys. But if you look at the second gen and these children of this history, they are so valuable. We have to raise them really well, right? And taking care of children becomes their main mission, is to raise an amazing generation of godly children of this history that will make an impact in the future. It is basically sacrificing this time now, raising your children amazingly so that they will become people that will impact this history in such a major way. Career, the one misconception with career is people think that, I'm just going to get a regular job. I'm not going to do much in it because I want to run for this history. I just got to run. So people they don't treat their jobs really seriously. They don't excel in their jobs. And they think it's just about going back to church and running on campus and doing this and taking care of these. No, it's not. No. Career is you become this external witness. And what does it mean, external witness? It doesn't mean that you're going to be like this YouTuber with 10 million subscribers. But you become this light that shines in your workplace, where you excel in your career. You become an amazing testament for God. People know that you're a great person. People know you work hard, that you're an example. And you become this great person there where people will respect. And they'll look at you and say, wow, who is this person? This person is someone who believes in God. They're so amazing. It's not about becoming someone who just does just enough work and then spends all the time at church. No. You've got to become amazing, develop and excel in your career, becoming an example, right? You're not going to be someone that a career department is not someone who just goes and works at McDonald's, right? Or some minimum, not even a career, unless you make it a career, you become manager and you work your way up into headquarters, but not just I'm going to be a barista at Starbucks. I'm going to work part-time and going to spend all my time at church. No, because what happens is you're going to be not good at two things. You need to focus. The career has to become a shining light in the career. Excel, become elite, become a shining light for those in the workplace. Even if not a single person is evangelized, you need to become a great person. Why? Think about this. If someone becomes really great, like a CEO, or they become someone who's just really respected, become one of the best lawyers, become one of the best engineers, become someone who's just excels and is a shining light in their profession, then what happens? Then they can testify to many people. Right? If we have that career day, it's hey guys, guess who's coming today? And we have this person coming, and this person is has won this many awards and has done this, and this, and they're going to come and speak to us about success. And people will come because you've excelled in your area. Situations, circumstances, environments, they all change, right? Even think about someone who's persecuted by their family. Why would you go to church? It makes no sense. Right? Why would you push someone like that to go to church when they're being persecuted? It makes no sense. Why would you push them and say, hey, why aren't you waking up at pre-dawn? Because it's hard to do it at home. It's hard when you can't even pray out loud. It's hard when you can't let your parents hear the alarm go off. Situation, circumstance, environment, it all makes a difference. Right? You have to find a wiser way. How you listen to the message. Go to a cafe. Don't dress up, because it'd be why are you so dressed up to go to the cafe? Yeah, everything has to be done with wisdom, and we have to be people that understand everyone's stages in life, their level, how long they've been in Providence, how much they've been developing, and we have to respect everyone at every level they're at. The point is, everyone must excel in whatever stage and situation, circumstance you're in. If it's raising children, excel. If it's about career, excel. Campus, excel. And you got the time to run this history. If you are running full-time Providence, excel. You got to excel. There's a lot of people I see, even who do full-time, they don't even try to get better. And that's something, that's not a good thing. Because a person who's in career, who's excelling and developing and becoming better and better in their careers, becoming a shining example, is far better than someone who's just running full-time but doesn't excel, doesn't try to develop, make their lecturing better, train themselves to become better managers, train themselves to become better leaders. You have to excel in every stage. And each stage is going to be different. Guys, I'm going to tell you this one secret. It's not even a secret. Pastor Jones said the people actually running in their church, running as in going out, evangelizing, finding people, right? The average church has about 10% of the people, which means if you have 190 people in your church, then anywhere from 15 to 20 people are going to be actually doing the hands-on evangelism, hands-on lecturing, hands-on this, hands-on that. And this is not even including Milky Way, because Milky Way, remember, Milky Way become official members when they come to middle school. So if you look at even the churches you're at, look at the number you have and think about 10%, and that's about the number of people that are actually hands-on directly contributing to the ministry and running the church. It should be about 10%. When I was at the Lord's church, it was really amazing because there was 20%. So imagine 20% of, at that time, what do we have? We had 450, 500 people, which means 20% is 10% of 500 is 50. So 20% is 100 people running. Yeah, it's pretty crazy because when I was there, even when there was 500, 600 people, there were 180, 200 face stars. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the thing is, we have to understand this is something that's really, really amazing. That if you understand the real stats behind it, if it's 10%, if you're a family member who's raising a baby, it's different. Your role is different in the church. Your role becomes like the mothers and fathers of the church, taking care of your kids, making sure there's stability in the church, right? If you're a newlywed couple, yeah, you're building your relationship, you're working, building the relationship, getting yourself ready for a family, career, shining the light in the career. And of course, if you're there's a lot of career people, a lot of family people that even do evangelism, like families that will take care of other families. That's great. Career members taking care of other career members, evangelizing people in the workforce. The great thing about evangelizing people in the career, like in the workforce, is they all have the same schedule, which means that no one's busy during the day because they're all working. And because they're all working, it's great. It's great because you don't have to worry about managing them while everyone's working. Everyone is busy. But when work ends, you have time to go out, have dinner with their colleagues, dinner with these newcomers. It's something that you have to look at your situation and circumstance. And when someone says, you should be running like this, and this, yeah, running at your stage, at your level, at your circumstance, your situation, your environment. Right? If you're being persecuted, don't just all of a sudden say, why aren't you running? Like, okay, I got to go out and do it. No, you got to think about your situation, your circumstance, and don't get yourself into that guilt mode. But also look at yourself and say, in my situation, circumstance, what can I be doing better in? And you focus on those things. Okay? So I hope that this helps you guys out with what you're doing, your situation, circumstance, because yeah, all of us, we're in a different place, different time. And what we need to do is really understand each other well. And if we do that, the way that we, like the guilt or the way you feel, all these other different things, you don't have to feel it. And in most cases, a lot of people have, I wouldn't say false, but it's kind of made up in your head because like Satan comes in and says, oh, why aren't you out on campus? And the answer is because you have 4 babies. You can't go out on campus with 4 babies. Like, doesn't make any sense. Why aren't you out on campus? Because you're working. What, you're gonna take a day off of work and go on campus? Doesn't make any sense, right? So we have to really look at the situation, circumstance we're in, the stages in life we're in, and the level of our spirituality and how much we've come to this history in, right? All right. So thank you so much for that question. I hope that it helps a lot of people too. And that brings us into the song choice of the day. And the song choice also is The song of choice is was actually it was originally released in 1997. It was written by Bob Dylan, and the first time it was performed, it was by Billy Joel. Bob Dylan also sang it a little bit later, but it was redone in 2008 by Adele, and it's called "Make You Feel My Love." And this is one of those songs, like it's one of those love songs, right? And we can obviously, as people of this history and in a love history, we can take this between us and the Holy Trinity, us and the Lord. And this is a song I remember from a wedding of my cousins, where one of my cousins sang this for another cousin's wedding. And this song is from Adele. This version is from Adele, but I found a great cover of a duet. And this is covered by Tristan Denier, featuring Nika Moss. So let's enjoy the song, Make You Feel My Love.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love.
When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there's no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love.
I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong.
I will go hungry, I go black and blue, I go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet.
I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Oh, there's nothing I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love.
To make you feel my love.
Oh yeah, to make you feel my love.
And that is Make You Feel My Love, covered by Tristan Denier and Nika Moss. I hope you guys enjoyed that cover of it. It's kind of like a duet. They didn't really sing together, but great song. And I think you can really feel the Holy Trinity when you hear that song too. So I hope that if you guys have any more song requests, just go ahead and write them in the comments, and we'll be able to get that going too. So let's move into a really cool section today. I'm just starting to remember all these things that happened in the past, right? So it's gonna be a story that I want to tell. Not even a story. It's kind of education that I learned when all the way back when I was in England and London at that Promise Church. And I think it's something that will really benefit a lot of people. So at that time, like I said, more and more people were being evangelized. And at that time, I believe there was about 10 or 11 of us at that time. And I was getting a little bit stressed. Like, man, there's just so many people to take care of. I don't know. I'm stressed. And at that time, I was 27. Never been, it's my first time pioneering a church. And I was thinking and praying, God, how can I, there's a lot of people now. There's me, 10, 11 people. I'm taking care of 10 people. Everyone has issues and problems. And I'm just I don't know what to do. And at that time, there was a phone call I got. Because remember, we went to visit Pastor Joan in Vancouver. And she gave us a lot of attention. And she called one day. And she could hear it in my voice. Hey, is everything okay? Of course, this is all in Korean, right? It's is everything okay? And I was like, man, I'm so stressed. I don't know how to take care of all these people. How do I take care of them? And then she said to me, do you know heaven's principle of management? There's a heavenly principle of how you manage. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, something taught me. And I was like, wow, okay, so what do you do? So she said, so in your church right now, let's say there's 10 people. And there was. It's there's 10 people. So if you're the only leader, how many people are you taking care of? And I was like, 9. It's yeah, that's a lot of people, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it takes a lot of time. But I have so many things to do, lecturing and evangelize, just so many things. She's like, yeah. So what Sunstream taught me was, if you have 10 people in church and 1 leader, what is heaven's managing principle? He says, one thing you have to realize about people is everyone is different. And everyone has different speeds of learning and growing. Doesn't mean one's better than the other. It just means everyone's got different speeds. Some are really fast, some are slow, some are in the middle, some are super slow, but everyone has their own speed. So the problem we have is, if we raise everyone to the speed of the slowest person, then who's struggling? And I'm like, well, the fast people, because they're going too slow. She's like, you're right. But what if we raise everyone to the speed of the fastest people? And I was like, then the slowest people are struggling because they can't keep up. It's like, that's right. So what do? What you do is, the people who are fast, you separate them and you raise them at their speed. And you raise the slower people at their speed, and the slowest people at their speed, the medium people at their speed. And what happens is, if you have two people that are really, really fast, you raise them quickly because that's their speed. And when they become, and then you raise them as quick as possible, then how many leaders you have now if you raise those 2 quickly? Now you have 3 leaders with 7 people that need to be taken care of, which means that is a little over 2 people each. He says that is heaven's method. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. So I thought to myself, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to separate them without getting people to feel oh, that's no fair. Why are you treating them better? So the inspiration I got, and also from advice from Pastor Joan at that time, was we started a leaders group, people who wanted to become church leaders, head leaders. So I counseled each and every person individually, and I talked to them and said, hey, for the future, what are you thinking? Because I was thinking about making a head leaders group, just raising people to be head leaders. And I just want people who are really thinking about becoming a head leader. It's going to be a little bit difficult. They're going to be trained a little bit harder, but it's really for people who really want to become head leaders. And I talked to the 10, 11 people in the church, and surprisingly, there were 5, right? And I forgot to put one thing in. The reason why I was struggling and stressed, the reason I was stressed so much was while I was there in Europe, like Sunsim would like send me off to another country just to help them out for a bit. So I'd be gone for 3-4 days. And you got to understand this, guys. This is a pioneering church. So everyone's been in Providence for like less than half a year. Like less than half a year. And I'm the leader, been there for like 7 years. And I'm being sent off to another country. And I'm leaving these little chicks behind, right? And I'm just like, and the first time I left, I went to France, and it was crazy. I'm gonna be serious with you guys. It was so crazy because even though I was in another country, every day, every like couple of hours, I'm calling, checking in. They're calling me, texting me, like, hey, is everything okay? What's going on? They're like, hey, I don't know how to do. Hey, this happened. I'm not sure about this. Hey, the tech went down. And it was crazy. I was like basically literally in 2 countries at the same time. Because even though my body was there, I was like constantly checking on them all the time because they were young. And because of that situation, I was like, hey, I'm struggling, because that's why I was so stressed. And this is when Pastor Joan gave me this heaven's management principle, right? The principle of management in heaven, right? And after I heard that, I was like, okay. So I separated these 5 people, and I would just train them strongly. And I warned everyone. I actually warned them. I said, hey guys, just want to let you know, if you guys want to be trained for this position, it's not going to be easy, and I might get mad at you, and I'm going to rebuke you a little bit more. Right? So I want you to understand what you're getting into. And if you're okay with this, then you can join. But if not, yeah, I don't want you to be shocked by this. And they're like, all 5 of them said, let's do it. So I would take this separate group aside, and I would be training them how to run the church, how to do the practical things inside the church, right? Getting them to do step by step, how to lead the service, right? How to do Bible studies, lecture training, and everything else like that. And after about another 2 months, I was sent off to Germany, and I went over to Germany. And since we had this group of 5 now, I left one person in charge of the 5 and the entire church, and they would treat this person like the church leader, the head leader. And I would be gone. And of course, every night I would get a call on this person, say, hey, I don't know what to do here. I don't know. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry. And I would instruct them and stuff like that too. But this time is interesting because it wasn't every couple hours. It's just every night, reported what was going on. We talked, came back, and then we trained for like another 3 months. And then I went out again to France. We trained for another 3 months. Then I went out to Germany again. And I'm telling you this, guys, when we took this group of people that really wanted it, and they wanted to go fast, and they wanted to learn fast, by the time it was my 4th trip, I was fully in that country. I was not thinking about, oh, how are they doing? Oh, how are the little chicks? I'm like a mother hen coming back to her chicks. It was actually, I was free. And at that point, it made sense to me, finally, what Sunsim was saying. And what Sunsim was saying was, if you raise the next generation, then you become more free. And I really believe that if we understand the principles of the heavens, like the management principle of heaven, then we can make this history happen a lot faster and a lot stronger. So I'm really hoping that this helps a lot of you out, whether you're leaders, whether you're members. This is something that we can look and see, understanding yourself too. It's not about who's better. It's just people have different paces. People have different speeds. And if it's not fast enough, tell your leader, I want to go faster. If it's too fast, tell your leader, hey, actually, I'm not really this speed. I need to slow down a bit. And I hope that we too will be able to help each other inside of our departments, inside of our teams, our groups, our churches, just at any level. And I hope that you guys too, during this time, we can learn a little bit more. All right, so I hope that you guys learned a little bit more today from Heaven's Principles. All right, And this means that we are ever closer to the weekend, right? So it is Friday on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. I hope you guys had an amazing time with me and with us together. And I hope that you guys will have an amazing weekend. Just remember, on Saturdays, we'll post up some new educations and lectures. And on Sunday, we have the Sunday edition with Catherine Poon, who's in Korea. Everyone have a wonderful weekend.
You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure.
You wanna make it happen? Don't ever back down from the challenge ahead of you. Gotta keep your head